that's hard. That's a difficult place for an older child to be in, to not have that support, that family support. So in those cases, the CASA volunteer takes on a lot of other roles for this child, this youth, including, helping them to get ready, like giving them advice on bank accounts and things that they're going to need, helping them get their state ID or their driver's license. What are they going to need to become an independent person
Many of
in
the things
yeah.
that your parents did for you, and
Correct.
for me.
Yes.
Comedy clubs.
Okay, for everybody that tripped over the algorithm and fell into this show, we have Shannon McBride-Bromberg from CASA, and you're going to come on. You reached out. Somebody heard about us. I thought it was Lori. I thought
Yes,
Lori,
it was. Yes.
Okay.
She's our director of volunteer recruitment.
Okay. Well, people say, hey, on the Lake Forest podcast, why don't you talk about stuff other than insert blank here? Usually it's politics. So now we have CASA. Now, what is CASA? You're going to explain that to us. So, Shannon, welcome to the Lake Forest podcast. CASA, my high school Spanish is coming into play. Does that mean house?
No, it actually stands for Court Appointed Special Advocate.
Okay.
And CASA is a national organization that was started by a judge in Seattle in 1976, when that judge recognized that children in the foster care system were not getting very good representation in court. So the judge had an idea to start this organization where volunteers would be trained and would go through some sort of rigorous training, and they would then be able to visit the children, get to know the children in the foster care system, and then report back to the judge about how the children are doing, what's really happening in their placements, and what the children need. So ever since then, the program took off in 1976, and it has grown tremendously. And now it is there's a national CASA organization which has programs in every state in the country. Illinois has a very strong CASA program. We have a strong Illinois CASA office in Chicago with local programs on almost all of the counties in Illinois. So I'm from CASA Lake County, and we are currently, it's a strong program. We currently have about 240 volunteers that our staff supervises. Each volunteer gets a case. Sometimes that is one child, sometimes that is a sibling group from the same family. And that volunteer is tasked with visiting the children once a month either in their foster placement or in their home of origin with their biological family, depending on what's going on with the case. And then we write court reports to the court to inform the court about what's going on in the home and how the children are doing, what they might need. We also do other things. We provide resources to the foster families or the biological families, wherever the children are. We hook them up with community resources. We have things that we provide to them based on donations that we get as an organization. So and then the volunteers do. They're remarkable people. They love the children. They get to know the children very well, and they do things like contact the teachers in the schools to see how the children are doing in school, and attend IEP meetings for the children to advocate for their best interest within the schools. Within medical offices, they advocate for if there's medical needs in the cases, they advocate for that. They really take a well-rounded approach and try to get these kids what they need, and advocate in court for the judge to make those orders about what the kids need.
This program started around in the 1990s or whatever. The federal government said, here's some money, and when something happens in a household, the kids need to be represented. And if you got something wrong, something happened with the parents or the custodial, whoever's there, that you need somebody to step in and advocate for the kids in court, right? So
Correct. So we get appointed when when something happens, when a hotline call is made and there's some allegation that these children are neglected or abused, or they don't have a place to go, maybe they don't have anyone caring for them. When that hotline call is made and it gets investigated by the child welfare system, DCFS in Illinois, then it gets referred to court. Once there is a court case, then CASA gets appointed at that first court hearing.
so before 1990, like how did this work? Who represented the kids?
Yeah, I mean, 1976 was that first judge who noticed that there was a need for this. Before then, they're just, unfortunately, the kids, these cases were coming to court, and the judge is like, I don't know what's going on with these kids. I can't go visit each of these children. I can't go to their homes. So, they were working on very limited information, and there was a recognition at that time that in order to work for the best interest of the children, the courts needed more information. So it was that kind of that recognition. Unfortunately, it wasn't a great system before then, and the system still has its problems, obviously. But CASA does something, kind of fills in this gap that even caseworkers have, and they're very overworked. The DCFS caseworkers, they have 100 cases sometimes. They have so many children that they're responsible for that they can't really spend all the time with the child that a CASA can, because a CASA only has one case. So these are volunteers who really are highly dedicated and go through kind of a rigorous training. Our training for them is about 40 hours. And it takes, they go a few times a week over a period of several weeks in their training. So it is, it's not something that everybody can do. It is a highly committed and stressful volunteer role, but it is very, very much worthwhile.
Shannon, you are looking for more volunteers, caseworkers, aren't you?
Yes, we are definitely looking for more volunteers currently.
Growing up is tough for a kid. They have school and homework, practices and games, there are doctor's appointments and detention halls. The making friends and the keeping friends, discovering who they are and who they aren't. There's so much to learn. There's this whole world out there, right here. These times are transforming in someone's story, and they can really be quite chaotic. That chaos of being a child only increases when abuse and neglect fill their home. The normal winds of chaos are now a storm, and sometimes, when the storm is so great, a child must be removed from their home. And this is a really tough day. It's complicated and it's painful. When a child is removed from their home because of abuse or neglect, they leave their normal and they enter foster care. The court sends them to a new place, a new home, often to a new school with new people, new everything. And all of these new things aim at a better life for the child. They aim to help in the healing process for the family. But it's still tough. They still have the school activities, the doctor's appointments, and the lessons to learn. But now court dates, visits with parents, and check-ins with social workers quickly bombard the calendar. And there's the pain of separation from what they know and where they feel comfortable. There are hundreds of children in our city who experience chaotic days like this, weeks like this, years like this. And these days, weeks, and years are difficult. They're exhausting and isolating. They're really tough. But there are ways to help. Ways to bear the burdens the child is carrying. Ways to make the days less tough. These children need to feel more supported. They need someone constant who is on their team. Someone who is fighting for their best amidst all the shuffle. And a CASA volunteer provides this help. A court-appointed special advocate helps bear these burdens. They are the constant amidst the chaos. In the middle of all the shuffle and uncertainty, they know the child. There are still tough days, but now there's someone standing up for the child day in, day out. Someone who knows both the biological and foster parents. Someone who meets with the teachers, doctors, and social workers to ensure the child's needs are being met. Someone who speaks for the child's best interest in court. Someone who the judge counts on for insight. Someone who cares about the child and just lets them be a kid. Someone who is there for the tough days, the great days, and the in-between days. This someone is so important. This someone is a CASA volunteer. And there are hundreds of children in our city waiting for a CASA volunteer. They're waiting for someone to speak up for them. They're waiting for someone to help weather the storm. Each child in foster care needs this support, this someone to count on. Be this someone for a child in foster care. Be their advocate. Be a powerful voice for their best interest. Be a CASA volunteer.
We have the number of cases that we currently have that we're serving children is about 216 and about 400 children that we serve presently with about 240 volunteers. And we currently have about 25 children on a waiting list waiting to have their CASA appointed to them. So we are always actively recruiting, and we have, I think our next training class starts at the end of August 30th, but we train pretty frequently throughout the year. It is like a hybrid training with some on Zoom and some in-person trainings. And, you know, but not only are we always looking for volunteers, we are also, yes,
Yeah.
we are always looking for donations because it costs us about $1,200 to recruit and train a volunteer, and it costs us about $2,500 to provide a volunteer for a child for a year.
Shannon, is this different from NICASA?
Yes, yes, it is. And sometimes those two get confused in our community. NICASA is an organization, another nonprofit organization that provides services for some of the families in our cases. I think they provide like drug and alcohol treatment services, maybe parenting classes, those sorts of things.
But it is different. Two
Yes,
different.
correct. Yes.
So Shannon,
CASA's Northern Illinois Court Advocacy Services. Yeah.
Right.
And yeah, I mean, they're not really competing. That's the wrong term for it, but they are sister organizations, if you will.
Yeah, complementary for sure.
Yeah.
They're both involved in the child welfare system. Yes.
Yeah, my a good friend of mine, Sue Fowler, is one of your caseworkers, and I must say, I've talked to Sue about it many times. She very much values the time, the benefits to her from helping out a lot of kids in really tough situations. The answer to, I guess, Pete's question earlier there, who did this before CASA, was the Department of Children and Family Services supposedly did it. But in fact, the state bureaucracy, who are state employees, has been a very troubled organization.
Let's not bury the lead here. I may have this wrong, Shannon, but didn't the administration, the feds, cut off half your money or whatever the grant was? So
yes, so there was some funding cut to National CASA, which National CASA gets funding from the federal government, which they trickle down to the state organizations, and then that trickles down to the local organizations. So there was a cut of all federal funding. However, it was restored once, I believe, you know, it was sort of when this administration first took over. There was initially a cut to a vast array of programs, this being one of them. And then I think, you know, Congress sort of got involved and made them aware of really what CASA does, and that it was not in conflict with the goals of the stated goals of the administration. So funding was restored to National CASA. Well, we get a lot more than just federal. So we don't get direct federal funding, at least not much of it. A lot of our money does come from the state, which comes from DCFS.
Yeah.
So DCFS gets money from they have a line item in the budget for CASA in the state budget. So that goes though to all the CASA programs in the state. So I believe they use a calculator on how many children are served by each program, and they divvy the money up based on that. So we get state funding. We have obviously private donations from foundations and that kind of thing as well. And then we do fundraising. We have a gala each year. We have a golf outing each year. And then there's just like a host of small like events. And then we just have some supporters that just donate money because they believe in the cause and they believe in what we do. So it is a diverse source of money. And that, we do have a federal grant right now from National CASA for recruitment. I believe that's about $100,000. After the money from the federal government was restored to National CASA, they were able to offer some of these grants to local programs again that they weren't able to do during that time. And that recruitment grant is one of those. It's a year to year kind of thing. Like, how are we doing this year? Are we making our budget this year? I know we've had some good investments that have paid off, So just to be clear, DCFS is still involved in the cases.
Yeah.
They manage these cases. They are the caseworker that manages these cases, but each caseworker has a whole bunch of cases, like sometimes 30, 40 cases with multiple children in each case. So they are very busy. And unfortunately, it's a very, very stressful job, very difficult job. So there's a lot of turnover with caseworkers. So they have found actually that, the data and the research has shown that that a CASA can help in many ways in these cases. But one thing that they've seen is that when there's a CASA involved in the case, it gets to permanency for these children quicker, which ends up saving money for the state because it costs a lot of money to manage these cases for the state of Illinois. Every year that these children are in care, it's just costing, more and more money. So if we can get these children to a safe and permanent home sooner, then it saves the state money by doing that. And when a CASA is on the case, they're able to sort of do several things. They can support the foster parents and the foster homes and the biological families by providing those resources, by hooking them up with community resources, by being like a steady presence in the children's lives. And if they can do that, then sometimes they can help because sometimes foster parents become overwhelmed with everything that's happening, and these children sometimes come with behavioral issues or trauma, things that have happened to them in the past. And if we can identify those issues early on and provide therapy and other supports that the families need, then we can get them to, we can sort of stabilize those placements and not have to remove the children and find a new foster home for them. So CASA being involved can help identify those issues quicker and point those families in the right direction to get them the support that they need. It's
So
interesting.
State is short head count, and you're helping
on one level, they are providing a service that otherwise could be provided by the state, but really isn't. I think the nice thing about CASA in particular is that these volunteers, caseworkers, go to the court appearances with the children and provide a nice guide through a very complicated and intimidating process.
That's correct. Our volunteers do attend court for their cases. So once they write that court report and submit it to the judge and all the parties and all the attorneys in the case, on the court date they're there, the judge has questions. The judge can ask the volunteer about anything about the children and anything about their observations.
And I think
then there are times when the volunteer will testify in court as well.
I think they have a lot of credibility. These caseworkers are normal people from the community who care about these poor children who are, for whatever reason, ended up having to deal with the institution of government, which is not a kid-friendly activity. And
that's what I'm trying to find out is like how many different services do these kids have? I understand before 76, so you have the different CASAs, then you have the state and you have the feds. Who's all at the dais or who's in front of the judge when this thing is going? How many different people are there represented?
It's the DCFS caseworker and it's their CASA volunteer. Those are really the two. They have an attorney as well. That is the GAL attorney, which is appointed by the court. So the child has an attorney GAL in Lake County, and they're a caseworker. But the attorney GAL also has many children that they represent. So the unique thing about the CASA volunteer is that they are able to focus on one family or one child, and get to know that child or those children and what they need and how they're doing. I do want to bring up that we have a lot of cases with teen children, so older youth because they can stay in the system in Illinois till they're 21 years old. And many times these youth are not in a traditional placement. They're not with a family. They can be in maybe a group home or a residential placement. And they really don't have, that person, that kind of person in their life, that steady presence, adult presence, to guide them through the system and through to independence. Many times they have an independence goal, which means that the system is no longer, or the court is no longer looking for a foster home or a family permanent placement for these youth. And their goal is independence. So that then it just becomes a matter of DCFS and training them towards independence. And that's hard. That's a difficult place for an older child to be in, to not have that support, that family support. So in those cases, the CASA volunteer takes on a lot of other roles for this child, this youth, including, helping them to get ready, like giving them advice on bank accounts and things that they're going to need, helping them get their state ID or their driver's license. What are they going to need to become an independent person in
Many of the things that your parents did for you.
Correct. Yes.
Shannon mentioned in particular GALs. That stands for guardian ad litem. In these are court cases. The state of Illinois is bringing a case against typically the parents, the natural parents involved. And the court here in Lake County appoints a local attorney to act as what we call guardian ad litem for the minor. It's not literally a lawyer for the minor, but it in many ways functions as such. The minor, of course, is a minor and can't make decisions and can't hire a lawyer themselves and can't give direction to the lawyer because they're 4 years old. So the guardian ad litem is a kind of an expanded lawyer role where the lawyer is also acting as a recommender to the court of what the lawyer thinks the court should do in the case. This is all a method of trying to provide some advocacy on behalf of the minor child in a process where the minor child is not technically a party.
Right.
Correct. So and in Lake County, yes. So it's the GAL is a lawyer, so it's the child's lawyer as well as the guardian ad litem. So they are acting not only in their legal interests, but also in the GAL is tasked with acting in the child's best interest. So it's kind of a combination of both. And different counties handle this differently. There are some counties in Illinois where the CASA volunteer is the GAL, is the guardian ad litem. It's not the case in Lake County. Yes.
Shannon, where do we send people to help you out? Money, number one. Volunteers.
Yes. So they can go to our website. And once they're on our website, they can donate there. And they can also, there's an application form if they'd like to become a CASA volunteer. And once they fill out that application, then Lori Peterson, our volunteer trainer and recruitment specialist, will contact them and set up an interview. They will come in and do an interview with her. And then if they're still interested, they will sign up for one of our training classes. And then once they complete that training, they will be ready to be assigned a case. Also, one more thing I just want to plug. So during the holidays, we do a lot of giving programs during the holidays so that we can provide sort of things for our children all year long. We used to do our little trees in the Starbucks stores. You've probably seen those in Starbucks stores, but last year we were told that Starbucks would no longer be able to have the trees in their stores. So we reached out to many different community organizations, different like businesses and coffee shops, and we sort of like last minute got our trees in a bunch of places. And we have little tags on the trees, and somebody can pick the tag and buy a thing or a gift, or provide a gift card, and a lot of the things that we try to get are coats for our children, as well as clothing. Because we have in our office, we have a storage area where we have coats and clothing. And then at the beginning of the school year each year, so we're having our back to school open house in August, and our volunteers come in and they They pick coats for their children so that we can send them off to school with a fresh coat. And if their children move placements during the year and they need clothing because the clothing didn't go with them or whatever the case may be, they can come in and get clothing in their children's size. And we get gift cards during that time in the holidays from those trees. And those last us pretty much all year so that we can provide things for the families that need them during the year.
The gala, Shannon, the gala.
No, and the gala is a big fundraising, yes, opportunity for us. We are having our gala this year on October 30th. And if anyone is interested, that'll be on our website as well. If anyone is interested in buying tickets to that, it's a fun event. It'll be at Ravinia this year. And we are, that is our biggest fundraiser of the year. So those funds actually go directly to training volunteers.
Shannon, do you work with Mother's Trust at all?
Yes, so we do. We actually do. We, if our families need something that we, a bigger thing that we are not able to provide, with the resources that we have, we can fill out on it. The CASA manager, because we have staff that manage the volunteers, can fill out the application for Mother's Trust, and they often come through for our children as well with things like if our kid wants to play soccer and they need like the fees to play soccer, or they want a summer camp, something like that. Mother's Trust often comes through. Or I've had cases where I just have a teen girl that wants to go to prom and doesn't have the money for a dress. They'll provide that for the girl. And so there's definitely, we work with all these other community partnerships to provide what the children need.
Shannon McBride Bromberg Lori Peterson. Thanks for coming on the Lake Forest Podcast. Give us the cool on CASA.
Of course.
NICASA is CASA. You never hear that at all, do you?
Oh, we hear that a lot.
I bet somebody else figured that one out. Yeah.
Rick, welcome back. Shannon, thanks for showing up. Skoo, me and you.
Thanks, Shannon.
Good.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
All right.
Thanks, Shannon. Good to see you again.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Michelle Parnell has lived and worked in Lake Forest for over 2 decades. Michelle's lending experience, when combined with her real estate expertise, makes her an invaluable asset to her clients as they navigate their home buying or selling process. Call Michelle now at 847-528-8721, 847-528-8721. For the best cannabis in the world, look no further than Iliad Epic Grow. Owned by Lake Bluff's own Rich Ruzich, they are a cannabis cultivation center focusing on hard-to-find small batch products that will delight both the occasional user and ganjier. When visiting Michigan, ask for it by name. Epic Products, exceptional process. For more information, email info@iliadgrow.com. Laracy & Company CPAs, founded in 2010 by Lake Forest's own Brian Laracy, specializes in tax preparation and bookkeeping services. Earning the People Love Us on Yelp award, their process is straightforward. Just upload, review, and file. For a free quote, visit LaracyCPA.com now. That's LARISEYCPA.com. I'm excited to share with you something special from our Lake Forest community, the Aesthetic Lounge Med Spa, located at 775 North Bank Lane in Lake Forest near Wisconsin Avenue. This just isn't any spa. They offer an amazing blend of traditional spa services plus the added benefit of medical procedures and treatments. In a relaxing and luxurious spa environment, you can enjoy a range of cosmetic and aesthetic treatments. These are all performed under the supervision of top medical professionals. The Aesthetic Lounge Med Spa provides skin care, facial rejuvenation, body contouring, laser hair removal, Botox, dermal fillers, chemical peels, and much more. What's great is that each treatment is tailored not just to enhance your appearance, but also to address specific skin concerns and to promote overall well-being. So if you're looking to pamper yourself and take your beauty routine to the next level, give the Aesthetic Lounge Med Spa a call at 224-768-8028 or visit them at their location on North Bank Lane. It's an experience your skin will thank you for. We'd also like to say we're thankful for our Patreon supporters, Otto, John C., Helen, Herrick, JM, and Paul G.